have y equals 2 to the x. So essentially this is our f of x. And then we're going to transform it to y equals 2 to the x plus 4, either by a translation or a stretch. So we need to think, how can we get y equals 2 to the x plus 4? First of all, through a translation. Well, translation is when you're adding or subtracting a value. And this is going to be f of x plus 4. We can directly write it as that. And that means it's going to be a translation by, and I'm going to write it as a vector, -4, 0. Or equivalently, it's a translation by -4 in the x direction. Because it's inside the bracket, you do the opposite to this +4. I'm not going to go into any more detail on that. So that is our answer. Part 2 is the tricky one. Now we need a stretch. So stretch is when you multiply. And it doesn't really look like it's being multiplied at the moment, but that's because we have to separate it and write it as 2 to the x times 2 to the 4. 2 to the 4 is 16, so it becomes 16 times 2 to the x. So it's a stretch. By scale factor 16, and that was outside of the function. It's in the y direction. Okay, nice. For part B, we're asked to solve this log equation. So I've got log to base 2. Well, the first thing that I'm going to do is write log to base 2 of 8x and add on log to base 2 of 1 minus x and set that equal to 1. Because what we can now do is combine them. So it's going to be log to base 2 8x 1 minus x equals 1. Hopefully you can see my working over the faces. So now we can undo the logs. It must be that 8x 1 minus x is actually equal to 2. There's two ways to think about it. Like we're just either doing the inverse operation, and that's what it means. It means 2 to the power of 1 is equal to 8x 1 minus x, or you can think about raising both sides to the power of 2, and then these cancel out. So we've turned it into a quadratic, in fact. We've got 8x now minus 8x squared is equal to 2. I'm going to rearrange and divide by 2 at the same time. So I'm going to get 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Let's try and factorize. So we're going to have a 1 here. I don't think it's going to make any sense to have 4x and x. 2x works with a minus 1. So even though it's a quadratic, it's one with a repeated root. And it's going to give x is equal to a half. The only thing I'd say at this point, just to be careful, because when you start combining logs and removing them, sometimes you create spurious solutions that do not actually exist. So we just need to check that we don't get any negatives when we put a half in, and we don't. So it's a very quick check. This solution, you can always put in a half just to check the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side, but it will work. There's no reason why it shouldn't. Brilliant.